In 2060, a solar disaster scorched the world, plunging Earth into chaos. A comprehensive weather accident, the environment on which humans depended for survival, dealt a heavy blow to humans. The lucky survivors escaped to the underground shelter with difficulty, but an old man went against the crowd. He came to the only observatory on Earth alone. The old man was an outstanding astronomer, but he was terminally ill. He relies on meds and blood thinners to stay alive every day. He didn't want to waste the limited supplies. In the underground shelter, the old man knew people in the shelter wouldn't survive long. But the old doctor still chose to stay alone in the huge observatory. The old man slept alone, ate alone, and played chess alone. And what he had to do every day was to stare at these astronomical instruments and watch them repeatedly. One day, the old doctor discovered that there was another spaceship flying on Earth.
Let me see.
It turned out that decades ago, the old doctor boldly proposed that the planet named K23 might be a human habitation 4 years ago. NASA sent the most advanced spacecraft to survey the Earth, and it was the last spacecraft in operation on Earth. The spacecraft should reach Earth's communication range in 11 hours. The old man was guarding the observation instrument anxiously, waiting for the communication information sent back by the spacecraft. Suddenly, the flame alarm in the kitchen sounded. The old doctor hurried in to put out the fire. After the fire was put out, the old doctor burst into tears, but unexpectedly found a little girl. The old doctor immediately contacted the underground shelter and wanted to send the girl back. But after waiting for half a night, there was no response. He decided to keep the little girl with him. The old man and the little girl did not communicate with each other. The old doctor carefully took care of the girl's daily life. Finally, the spacecraft entered the Earth's communication. The doctor tried to get in touch with the spacecraft, but failed after countless attempts. Up north, there's a weather station protected by mountains, so the air might still be good. So the old man took the dialysis equipment, medicine, and the little girl and embarked on an unknown road. The journey to the weather station was much longer than the old doctor had expected. There were not only surviving wild animals around, but also the destruction of the weather. The old doctor found an ark before dark, and the two decided to rest here for the night. At night, the glacier began to melt. The ark instantly fell into the sea. The old doctor wanted to rescue the assault equipment and snowmobile, but he fell into the sea himself. The old doctor tried his best to climb out of the water. Without the snowmobile, the two could only walk forward. What was worse was that the old man had lost his dialysis machine, and he was about to die. He seemed to know that he would not live long, but the storm outside did not pity them, and a greater crisis was waiting for them. Keep going over there. The weather was bad along the way. The road was dangerous, and they even encountered a rare Arctic storm. The old doctor accidentally lost the little girl, and she anxiously fired in the snowstorm, hoping that the little girl would find her location. A few hours later, the storm finally passed, and the little girl miraculously returned to the old doctor. "I don't love you anymore. I don't love you anymore." Finally, the two arrived at the weather station. In addition to the captain, there were 4 team members on the spaceship. They ended their for you space drifting life and were about to return to their hometown, even though they had not received any news from their hometown. Until now, they still couldn't hide the excitement on everyone's faces. Suddenly, the end knowledge alarm sounded. The spacecraft has left its orbit. Although it can return to the Earth by circling, it will pass through an unknown area in the middle. After careful consideration, the captain chose the adventure ritual. If nothing goes wrong, there will definitely be an accident. Let's start. It turned out that when the spacecraft was crossing the unknown area, countless space meteorites hit the spacecraft crazily, severely damaging many parts, including the communication system. Through the judgment of the damaged parts, it is necessary for astronauts to go out of the cabin to complete the repair soon. The captain identified the 3 astronauts who went out of the cabin. The 3 came to the outside of the spacecraft and started maintenance work, and quickly repaired the damaged parts. Just when the astronauts returned to the cabin, a wave of small meteorites hit again, and the astronauts hurriedly clung to the outer wall of the spacecraft. This period of time was long for the astronauts. Fortunately, everyone hid. When several people thought they were safe, a drop of blood appeared in the protective shield of a female team member. This means that she has received penetrating injuries and needs immediate treatment. After returning to the spaceship, everyone opened the helmet of the female team member, and a large amount of blood gushed out too much. The female team member was immediately dead, and everyone could only accept the facts in front of them. Fortunately, they repaired the communication system, and the spaceship also arrived above the Earth at this time. But the Earth is now dark yellow and has lost its form of vitality. The huge storm over Earth made the team see how serious it was. They contacted the old doctor again and learned from him that Earth now seems destroyed. And he and the girl are the only surviving humans on the surface. Compared to the harsh environment on Earth, the planet K-23 that the astronauts had previously explored is more suitable for humans. The old doctor wants them to go back there. The spacecraft can use the Earth's gravity to provide enough power to return to K-23. 5 astronauts went to survey the second planet where humans live. There is water, the origin of life, oxygen for human survival, and various phenomena that indicate an environment suitable for human survival. They carried the spacecraft to bring this good news back to Earth. But when they reached above Earth, they saw it no longer rose like before, and the surface was full of storms. The Earth is facing collapse, and there are very few surviving humans. Compared to the Earth, the planet they surveyed is more suitable for human habitation. The old doctor wanted to persuade them, but not everyone thought so. One crew member was thinking about his family when he was returning. Now he is above the Earth. Even if he doesn't know whether his family is dead or alive, he still wants to go down and take a look. So he applied to the captain to return to Earth. There are 2 return capsules on the spacecraft. Using one capsule will not affect the others. The captain reluctantly agreed before leaving. Another male team member also chose to go back. He was also happy and wanted to take the female teammate, who had died before, back to her hometown. I will protect your family. In this way, the 2 returned to Earth. For a while, there were only 2 people left on the spaceship. They carried the last hope of mankind. They turned around and headed for K-23 to start a new life. Before leaving, the 2 expressed their gratitude to the old doctor. It was because of him that they could go to K-23 to find the ray of hope, and the 2 who returned to Earth could fulfill their longest wish. They described the beautiful K-23 planet to the old doctor, and the old doctor took the girl to look at the last night sky. Slowly, the little girl disappeared. Maybe the little girl was imagined by the old doctor. From the beginning, she might have thought of her daughter, or she might have been looking for the simplest place. In the depths of her heart, the 2 people on the spaceship began to clean up the communication system until they could no longer contact the Earth. And the movie ended with the business of the 2 people. This movie, with an investment of over $100 million. It has amazing effects and a storyline that makes you think. The director filmed what he thought was important. He didn't care how the Soviet Union and Earth were destroyed, and just wiggly explained it. The 2 people on the spacecraft, as the last continuation of mankind, lived on this distant planet.